Corsi was still doing rehab and Gleason's still not here. Can you give us an update on them?
Yeah, Corsi will be in training tomorrow, and Gleason has a knee injury, so he's out 4 to 6 weeks. So now it would be 3 to 5 weeks. Mm-hmm.
We saw Liam Ridgewell back with the team. Can you give us sort of what your expectations are for working him into the team, and what you've heard from him since he's been back?
I just caught him this morning in the breakfast room, said hello. You know, he wanted to train today, but we backed him down because he traveled all day yesterday. He'll be in full training tomorrow, and we'll plug him in. Simple. He's obviously played, I think it's 5 games, 90 minutes. So he's fit, he's sharp, looks good. Excited to be back, and we're excited to have him back.
Do you take any special steps with him of getting him back into the group, or is it just hit the ground running?
No. I mean, similar to when he came summer, right?
Yeah.
We just pretty much plugged him in. So best thing is he's probably more fit than anybody on our team because he's played 90-minute games, and he's played at obviously a high level. I mean, the championship it's a tough league. So he's played games under massive pressure at a very high level, and he's going to be ready to go. So how we integrate him with the other guys in terms of plugging him in the lineup, you know, we'll figure that out. But he's ready to go. I mean, if he had to play a game tomorrow, obviously you'd play him. He's like I said, probably ahead of the other guys.
Are Will and Diego on track? Have you gotten any feedback from their rehab?
Yeah, they're on track. Yeah, they're on track.
Do you think, are you excited to see kind of Borchers and Ridgewell finally pair up?
Yeah, no, we are. I mean, we feel like we have three very good central defenders. Obviously, we have you know, a young player like a Manning as well, who we're excited about also, and we're going to look to pull the trigger and sign a few of these guys, and they'll be at times on loan and at times training with Jay, at times getting games with T2, but I feel like we have a good stable of central defenders, a nice mix of experience and youth, and but in terms of Paparato, Ridgewell, and Borchers, we have 3 really solid guys. Paparato's done very well in preseason, but you know, right now we'll look to plug Ridgewell in with Borchers to see how that looks, and you know, we might pair a few different looks depending on the games, the next 3, but we'll definitely look at that in the next several weeks.
And I think you might have been asked about Ben Zemansky earlier in the preseason, but now that he's kind of got a full preseason in, knowing, you know, kind of what his role is most likely going to be, how's he looking with the group?
Ben's been tremendous. He's as fit as I've ever seen him. He's as sharp as I've ever seen him. I've known him a lot of years, obviously. He's in his peak prime right now, I think, in terms of he's always had energy and fitness, but you know, he's starting to settle tactically. You know, really pleased with where he's at, and we feel like I said, with Will out, you know, that's a tough piece to lose, but we feel like we have a really good piece in Ben to you know, to do well in his absence.
You mentioned last year that his more of a defensive role allows you to do different things. Is that picture becoming clearer now that you...
With Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the understanding of Char and Ben is very good. They played the last stage of the year together. That understanding chemistry was really good then. Obviously, we got a lot of results, and it was comfortable. And in the preseason, we've pretty much just built off that. So it only gets better and better. But it's nice to know that we've got 2 guys playing together that have already played together, and that chemistry is really good right now.
How do you see Nick Beasler fitting into that mix at all?
Well, right now, Ben and Char are ahead of George and Nick, but we feel like we have you know, two really good, again, similar to Manning, we feel like we have 2 really good young players in Beasler and George who, you know, and even a Jewsbury, you know. So if you look at the central defenders, you got, you know, Nat and Ridgewell, and then you got Paparato, who's an experienced reserve. similar in the holding mid position. You got Ben, you got Chara, and then you got Jack, who brings that experience. But then you also have the youth of a Beasler and a Fashive. So, like I said, we really like our mix and blend of experience, veteran leadership, and then we have some young players who are cutting their teeth and learning from these guys. And, you know, in the future, we hope that they're ahead of the guys that are right now ahead of them because of their experience. But that's the plan, and that's how you build a club long term.
Obviously, you guys have completely revamped your back line from what you had at the beginning of last year. With the players you have, including the outside backs and the experienced center backs, do you feel like you're finally able to play maybe the way you, does it encourage you to be able to play the way you want to play with the types of players that you now have on your back line?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're going to be even more effective playing out of the back. Borchers is very good on the ball. Ridgewell is very good on the ball. Adam is very good on the ball. Obviously, outside backs, you know what they can do. They're good getting in the attack. So we're not going to get carried away playing around our back, you know, a bunch of times. But ultimately, if we can build from the back with the ball on the ground, then we will. But if it's not on, it's nice to know we can toss it up to Adi and play off second balls. So I think that makes us a really unpredictable team. You know, in years past, maybe we haven't been quite as clean and composed with a few pieces, so we had to play direct, but then also maybe we didn't have a guy like Adi, so when we did play direct, it didn't work. So I feel like now if we need to play out of the back, you know, and you know, if we need to possess the ball with it on the ground, we can do that. But if someone's going to press us, we have no problem playing, you know, big into Adi and bypassing the pressure, and that makes us an unpredictable and a really well-rounded team.
You mentioned hopefully signing players coming up. Does it, obviously without the CBA here, there's not necessarily the number of players that are going to be on the roster isn't clear. Is that make you have to hold off on signing players, or is that something that you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right in that regard, but we have enough of a understanding where we kind of know that range of where we're at. So yeah, we pretty much know kind of where we're at, give or take a few players. We won't make our final signings until we know that, but we have enough of a margin right now to be able to sign a few guys. And like I said, I mean, yesterday Valesky is with T2 right now. He'll have to make that team. Belmar most likely we're going to sign T2. We've already made that decision. And then there'll be a few other guys where we're going to sign first team, but they'll be training at times and being loaned out at times to get games with T2.
We did see Chuma doing some double duty yesterday. Valesky and Belmar obviously did. How often do you think that's going to be the case? Is it just going to be for fitness, or when you need bodies? Like, do you have an idea at this point of what the regular overlap is going to be there between the?
It won't be a program thing. It won't be an exact science. It'll be sometimes based on our numbers, sometimes based on T2's numbers, what he needs for training, wants for training, what we want and need for training, and also it's great to be able to do a double day at times with a young player. I mean, in other countries they do that. They do double sessions. With the young players, because physically they're capable of managing that load, and that allows them to develop a little bit quicker. So it'll be something we do from time to time, which is why we want to stagger the sessions. So if we feel like a guy can get another session in that day, then we'll do that. They're young pros, and they need to work and they need to get better. So for me, that was less about a demotion and more about a positive with Shiloh. He's made great progress, actually turned a corner, I think, in the last several weeks. He's gaining confidence. His fitness is improving. And, I asked him at the end of training, you want to get another session? And he said, yeah. So it's a great, again, perk to be able to have T2 to at times give young players a double session, or give them a session where maybe they can gain a little bit more confidence. You want your players to develop under pressure and in an environment where it's difficult. But some days you might want him to gain a little confidence, and throwing him, you know, I don't want to say down a level, but throwing them in a level where maybe now all of a sudden they become a more prominent player. You know, there's a little bit of a method to that as well. How much you allow them to suffer a little bit in a tougher environment and fight it out and drown. But ultimately they gotta get this feeling of swimming too. And you know, some days you want them to drown and swim, and some days you want them to tread water. So, you know, there's a bit of a method to that, and I've over the years developed young players in that age bracket, and so has Jay. And you know, we have these discussions every single day. We meet at 8 a.m. every single day, and we talk about all these things. You know, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying my first team, and I'm looking forward to winning games there. But I'm also enjoying this project of developing young players, you know, for the future as well.
If you have a second, can you tell us a little bit about where Shuma is, and maybe a little bit about like you said, the corner that maybe he turned?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen this a lot. I saw it last year with Alvis. I've seen it, you know, with young players. All of a sudden the light bulb goes on. I don't want to say he's arrived or made it yet, but you know, I think the big thing is he's starting to swim. You know, he's drowned a lot. He's treaded water a lot, and you know, he's starting to swim a little bit and get his head above water and get confident. And next thing you know, I think you see this kind of snowball grow. I've seen this happen a lot. So, you know, he's got a lot more still that he's got to go, and you know, he's not there yet. But he seems in the last several weeks seems to have gained some confidence, and I think a part of that too is getting more fit. So light bulb's gone on a little bit, but I want to make sure it stays on.